Good day, colleagues. Welcome to the introduction, session 1, to the language project for 2021. The project will consist of 3 stages. Stage 1, the research, that will count 20 marks. Stage 2, the writing, which will count 30 marks. And stage 3, the oral presentation, which will count 20 marks. For the term 3 results, the research and writing will be recorded on SASAMS. It should be completed over a period of 6 weeks, that is 3 cycles of 2 weeks long in the senior phase. Certain parts of the project may be sent home for the learner to work on. However, this is a skills-based assessment, a task where we are going to teach them new skills, and therefore it should mainly be done in class. Please take note that we are encouraging parental involvement, but the learner should take ownership. Should the teacher detect that the project was done by the parent, such a learner should be penalized. The project requires the learner to master various skills. Therefore, facilitators and teachers are expected to do research beforehand to train ourselves before we attempt to do the project with the learner in term 3. These skills must be explained to the learner. The learner must be trained in these skills, and it must be developed during the 6-week period required for the project. Teachers may not expect parents or other individuals to complete this task. The topics were selected specifically with new elements or skills required in the 4th Industrial Revolution, which the learner must learn, get to know, and which they will apply moving forward. The nature of the topics also allows for cognitive levels to be included. And please, ladies and gentlemen, this should be fun. Learners must enjoy and play and have lots of fun while they are learning new skills and applying new knowledge. This is a basic outline of the procedure that the project will follow. First of all, the topic and the genre will be chosen. Then, databases and resources will be identified. The learner must then search and refine his findings, read and analyze, write the review, and the last step, present it in an oral. As far as the ATP is concerned, teachers are still expected to continue with teaching and learning during the period of administering the project. However, and please note, the ATP content and skills areas are integrated within the project. Slight changes will have to be made, however. Cycle 1, stage 1. The emphasis in the first cycle will be on listening and speaking, because the learner here will be busy with investigation. Teachers will also have a writing part, because notes will be drafted based on the research being done. And what language structures and conventions can also be incorporated whilst we are writing and looking at the different topics. In cycle 2, stage 2, the emphasis will mainly be on the writing section of the project. Teachers will again incorporate the other skills to assist with the writing process required for each individual topic. The focus here will be more on the writing processes and the language used to create the desired results. In cycle 3, stage 3, time will be allocated for orals based on the project. please take note. The oral mark generated during this stage will constitute the oral mark for term 4. Very similar to what happened in the first semester of the year. We started with the oral in term 1, we concluded it in term 2, and we recorded it for promotional purposes in term 2. The same thing will happen here. We'll start on the oral in term 3 and we will finish it in term 4 and record the mark for promotional purposes in term 4. This is basic approaches when doing research, how to investigate certain topics and questions, and you can see this is a comparison between the traditional literature review and a more systematic review. And I'm going to mail you this as well. Please look at it on your own, read through it on your own. Okay, how are we going to conduct this project? First of all, please keep in mind when you look at this slide that this is designed for normal circumstances, full teaching hours. The class is to be divided into groups of 6 because a dice has 6 numbers. Give each group the genre they will use for the project, or they may choose it themselves. Genres that must be used in normal circumstances are poetry, short stories, folk tales, drama, novels, songs, and for the grade 9s only, documentaries. And colleagues, please take note, we are not functioning under normal conditions. COVID-19, the third wave, is with us. So this can be changed, may be changed, okay? There is room for you to change this, to adapt it to your specific challenges and needs and to the learners sitting in front of you. If you, for example, have done only poetry, folk tales and novels, that is all you will be doing with your learners. If you were only able to do a short story and a drama, those are the 2 genres that you will continue with. Okay, so please keep that in mind. For 2021, we will manage the project as we are to the best of our abilities within the challenges we are facing. Okay, what should happen next is that the learners should then take a dice, gently roll it on the table. The number it stops on will give that learner the topic he or she will use for the research project. The genre, for example, poetry, will then be combined with the topic in say, for example, the dice fell on number 4, with the topic number 4. This will give the learner the research topic to be done in that specific genre. This also means that if you have 5 groups in a class, 5 learners will do a letter, 5 will do a comic strip, 5 will do a poster, and so on. Please note, this project was originally planned with group work in mind, but since we are still in the pandemic and the situation is not normal, the learners will do the project this year individually. If you swap some topics around and a learner has a problem with the elements or the genre in a specific topic, he or she may be given another topic to research. So the situation is fluid. Now we can change, we can adapt. The teacher may decide to give each learner a portfolio to do his research or his project in. We will also send you a learner booklet. You may choose to use that if you like. Please keep in mind, this is a skills-based project. We are going to introduce new skills to them, which they have to master in order to achieve the outcomes set in the assessments. Every aspect must be taught, completed and assessed, and it is our responsibility to do so. In some schools, the topics may not be appropriate. They may be too easy or too difficult. The teachers may change the topics to suit the cognitive abilities of their learners. Okay, a bit more information, more detailed information. Stage 1, Cycle 1, Week 1 and 2. We have to teach the learners how to do proper research, how to work independently, how to focus on a specific topic and the questions asked in that topic. Research will be cross-curricular. It may overlap with other subjects or subject areas. Skills will have to be integrated. The learners needs to know, we need to teach the learners how to do research, how to look for specific information, how to design, to create, to develop their work on their own. And we also need to allow the usage of different learning styles. We aim to help the children develop critical and creative thinking skills. The topics may be broad, but it's important that it has the learner's personal touch. We should start them off by asking what it is they want to achieve with the project. We have to teach them to keep to the facts, the questions asked. They will have to find existing evidence and use it in an unbiased, transparent and productive way. The research should include all the relevant sources that they were able to find. And in addition to that, the process must be well documented and reported. We will expect a full bibliography. So you need to teach them how to write down the sources that they used, how to document it and to report it. Every learner must use at least 3 sources. Please note, Google, Wikipedia and Pinterest are not sources. They are search engines. Within Google, if they visit a certain website, that will be a source. Use mind mapping techniques, very important, as part of the research and the planning. Why mind mapping? It helps the child to organize, to synthesize facts, to determine the layout of the project. These mind maps must be included in the portfolio as part of the research assessment. Remember to stick to the topic. We need to teach the learners, address the questions asked in the topic. Collect and save the relevant information. If they include visuals in their presentations, if they are to include visuals in their presentations, teach them to collect and save the visuals in a folder, have them scan it in, save them on a PC. The visual images for the project should be relevant to the theme or the topic. It should be age and grade appropriate, and if you now look at the visuals next to the text, you'll see, for example, the WTF visual is not appropriate. It should be clear, big enough to see, and it should strengthen the research that they have done. Writing. The writing part of the research may be written, may also be typed. Ensure that work is done, however, by the learner and not a family member. If the writing part is typed, the font must be Arial 12 and the spacing 1.5. Use paragraph conventions as well as all the writing processes, as they form part of the assessment that will be done. The length of the presentations will be determined by the specific topic and the chosen genre, so not all the projects will be the same length. Determine the strengths and the weaknesses in your class. So as from today, you need to start thinking about this. Give instructions as to the length of the projects after you have done an analysis. Teach the learners how to do a PowerPoint presentation. The PowerPoint should not exceed 10 slides. Teach the learners how to download information directly from the internet or resources. Visuals, very important, should be limited, relevant, unless the topic indicates otherwise. Okay, and here we've got a layout of all the specific processes. In the planning stage, concepts of the project will be developed within the genre and topic that they were given. The information should be organized into rough groups or sections or ideas. Then a rough draft should be done. Write a draft of the presentation or the project, arrange the sentences and paragraphs, develop a layout for visuals that must be included, and this will strengthen the presentation. Work on the presentations that must be developed. It must form a coherent project. Then we will get to the proofreading stage. If you have typed your work, print it out. Do the proofreading and editing on the printed document. Very important, there should be evidence of editing. Save this in your portfolio as evidence for assessment. Correct misspellings, incorrect missed punctuation, and inconsistencies in the text. Editing, correct issues at the core of writing. It's a bit different than the proofreading, like sentence constructions and language clarity, subject-verb concord, grammar, as well as style, tone, and register. And then the final work should be submitted. PowerPoint presentations should accompany a portfolio. All the research must be included in this portfolio, and these presentations will be used during the next stage of the project for the orals. Okay, getting to stage 3, the oral presentations. Prepare the oral presentations based on the research you did on a literary genre and the topic you have chosen. Pardon me. Some orals will have visuals that must be incorporated into the presentation. If the learner does a PowerPoint, practice beforehand. Make sure that the learner knows and understands the content and context of the research. He should have cue cards if needed to help him remember and focus. It's important that we teach our learners not to read their orals. If they have to explain some aspects of the project to the teacher and classmates, make sure that the learner understands it themselves. Enjoy this and good luck. Your presentation will also focus on the following, and you'll see this will speak to the rubrics. There should be a good opening, introduction, pronunciation and the use of punctuation will be looked at. Appropriate body language should be in place. Resources used to create a good project will be looked at, and then basic presentation skills will also earn you marks. How well you are prepared and how well you know your presentation. As far as the assessment of the project is concerned, you will receive rubrics and grids. Please take note. These are examples. The schools may use it if they want to, or they may make adjustments and draft new rubrics themselves. Personally, at this stage, I advise you to use the rubrics that will be mailed to your schools. Remember to keep to the objectives laid out in the project, the specific questions asked now, as well as the mark allocations. The research stage should be assessed through observation done in the class. Learners must bring the information to school, or they can use the school's resources in the library or the computer center. You will see when you assess the research, some of the marks can be allocated based on the observations done in class, and the final mark for research will be done after the writing is presented. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This concludes the introduction. Please remember that you have to attend 2 more sessions. There's a session 2, which will introduce the topics to you. And then there's a session 3 that we will work through the PowerPoint presentations and the new skills with you, and that will assist you in managing this project. Please do not miss those sessions. You can also not attend, if you teach, for example, only grade 8s and 9s, you will attend both the grade 8 and the grade 9 sessions 1 and 2, since these projects and topics differ from one another. The skills also differ, so make sure you attend all these sessions. Thank you so much. Have a good day.